We're ready for the Steelers and the Jaguars. Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson, along with my partner, Brent Jones. The big story in Pittsburgh, who will be the starting quarterback? Well, Bill Cowher hasn't told anybody, but we suspect that it will be Cordell Stewart today.
And we do think it's going to be Cordell, of course, coming off a big passing game last week, but hurt the Bengals as well with 40 rushing yards, and they're going to have to contain him today in this Jacksonville defense. For the Jags, their big players, Jimmy Smith, Mark Brunell, are going to have to make some things happen in the pass game against this weak defensive secondary of the Steelers.
So coming up, these two former rivals out of the old AFC Central will do battle. It's Pittsburgh and Jacksonville next. It's the National Football League on CBS Sports, Week 13 from Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville. We're ready for the Steelers and the Jags. And it's do or die for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They must win to keep their playoff hopes alive in the AFC South. And in the AFC North, the Steelers trying to stay in front of the Browns. Browns have an easy one today if they can take care of the lowly Carolina Panthers. And he came back with a vengeance last week. Cordell Stewart, impressive against Cincinnati. Fred Taylor and the Jaguars look to have an answer for the Steelers today.
Subway presents Fresh Starts, a salute to this season's surprises. Subway, eat fresh. Under new head coach John Gruden, the Buccaneers are off to their best start in team history following last week's win over the Packers. At 9-2, Tampa Bay has the NFL's top-ranked defense, featuring Simeon Rice, the league leader with 11.5 sacks, and quarterback Brian Kelly, who leads the NFL with 6 interceptions.
Whoa, hold on. Did you know his favorite color is green?
Alltel Stadium, a little nippy here in Northeast Florida, 53 degrees and sunny at kickoff time. Bill Cowher in his 11th season as the head coach, his team coming off a 29-21 win over the Cincinnati Bengals last week. As for Tom Coughlin in his 8th year in Jacksonville, they lost 21-19 to the Cowboys at Texas Stadium. Uncharacteristically, they turned the ball over 3 times. So Pittsburgh has won the toss, and they will receive the football. Richie Cunningham, recently signed to this Jacksonville team, will do the kicking, and the dangerous rookie, Antoine Randall, is back deep. So we're underway from Jacksonville. This will be Lee Mays from his own 19. And Mays gets up to the 30, make it the 32-yard line, a return of 14. So now we know who the starting quarterback is. It's Cordell Stewart. Last week, what an impressive performance against Cincinnati when he completed almost 85% of his passes up front. Gandy Faneca, Akobe in for Hardings with the knee injury. Vincent and Marvell Smith protecting Cordell. The backs and receivers, Plexico Burris, another breakout season. Hines Ward, his counterpart, having a career year. Bruner's the tight end. Bettis and Kreider are the backs. First down and 10 at the 32 for the Steelers. Stewart passing on first down to the sideline. Hines Ward with the grab, and he gets out of bounds at the 35, make it the 36 in front of Fernando Bryant. Defensively for Jacksonville, let's take a look. They allowed a season-high 301 yards passing last week to rookie Chad Hutchinson. Stroud's having a great year, though. 6 sacks for an interior lineman. The linebackers, Wally Rayner is in the middle. He leads the team in tackles. He's a former Cleveland Brown, Slaughter and Clark. And in the secondary, Fernando Bryant is their best corner, Kraft. But Ainsley Battles will take over for Donovan Darius, who has a shoulder injury at strong safety. 2nd and 6 at the 36. Stewart going up top. Plexico Burris with the catch. Burris cuts it inside. Burris gets down at the 10. Nicely done. Cordell Stewart going up top, and that's a 55-yard completion to Plexico Burris.
Gus, I think the Jags thought that the Steelers were going to come out running the ball. Of course, 2 passes right off the bat. Cordell Stewart putting it on the money, allowing Plexico Burris to run with the ball. You see right over the top of the defender, Plexico in stride. And when Plexico has some room to run, he really can make some things happen out there Very elusive for the 6'5" frame wide receiver.
Opening drive for this Pittsburgh team. First down goal at the Jacksonville 10. Stewart running on the quarterback draw. He gets down to the 6. Rob Meyer making the tackle.
And that's one of the areas where Cordell Stewart can really hurt you. Of course, rushed for 40 yards last week against the Bengals. That was a planned quarterback draw. And Tommy Maddox isn't a big runner. He sits in the pocket, and this is going to present a challenge for the Jags defense because Cordell Stewart likes to move that pocket, likes to scramble, likes to run with that ball.
Second down goal at the 7. Hines Ward in motion. Here's Stewart. Looks in the end zone, throws it behind the intended receiver, incomplete. Dan Kreider had snuck out of the backfield from his fullback position. And Stewart throwing that one behind him, and that'll bring up third down goal.
And Kreider was open, and Cordell Stewart, Kreider not one of the main targets in this passing offense of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you see that ball just a little bit behind him, but that clearly caught the Jags off guard. Of all the people they have to cover, I don't think Dan Kreider is in the top 4 or 5.
Former undrafted rookie out of New Hampshire in his 3rd season. Third down goal at the 7. Kreider, Amos Zaraway in the backfield. Here's Stewart rolling out of the pocket, throws on the run, incomplete. Hines Ward, the intended receiver. And that will bring on the kicking unit for the Steelers.
I think Jason Kraft's going to get his arm on that. Hines Ward had it. You see that ball actually just goes right through Hines' hands, trying to keep his feet in, and sometimes you look down to see where your feet are, you forget to catch the ball.
So here's Jeff Reed, 3 of 4 last week. Got a game ball for his performance after being with the team for only 5 days. This one from 25 yards out, and it's a layup. So the Pittsburgh Steelers take the early lead, 12:42 to go here in the first quarter, and it's a 3-0 game. Pittsburgh with the 3-0 lead, and these two teams very familiar with each other. Jacksonville leading the series, but more importantly, they're 6-1 lifetime versus the Steelers at home. And a look at the scoring drive, 6 plays, 61 yards. The big play, Cordell Stewart to Plexico Burress down the sideline. This one squibbed and picked up at the 10 by Elvis Joseph, and they jump on his back at the 20. Clark Hagan's there after a 10-yard return. So here comes the leader of the Jacksonville Jaguars offense, Mark Brunell, threw for 202 yards last week versus Dallas, a touchdown and an interception. And a look at the guys that are protecting him, and this offensive line has done a great job giving up only 26 sacks the entire season. So Brunell does not have a lot of people in his face, and the backs and receivers, Fred Taylor, a 100-yard game last week against the Cowboys, but he fumbled on the one, a very costly mistake as he was heading into the end zone. First down and 10 at the 20. Here's the handoff, Fred Taylor over the left side, and Taylor gets up to about the 23-yard line. Defensively for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they allowed John Kitna to throw for 298 yards last week. As you take a look at the 3-4 alignment, Smith, Hampton, Von Oelhoffen, and the linebackers, Joey Porter having an outstanding season, 7 sacks, 4 interceptions, and in the secondary, Washington Scott on the corners, Flowers is a hard hitter, and Alexander. Second down, 7 at the 23 for the Jaguars. Brunell over the middle, incomplete. Bobby Shaw, the former Steeler, allowing that one to go right through his hands.
And you can tell, guys, what Bobby Shaw's thinking. He wants to get that ball in his hands and prove something to his old teammates. And sometimes when you're so anxious, you take your eye off that ball, you start looking about the big open field you got in the yardage up ahead, and you see Bobby Shaw turn his head upfield before he looked it in, and it's a classic case. And in fact, probably half the drops in this league are just because of that exact reason.
As you look at the numbers for Bobby Shaw, who basically replaced Keenan McCardell, who plays with Tampa now. Third down, 7 at the 23. Brunell fires, and that one short. May have been deflected at the line of scrimmage. And the Jaguars go 3 and out.
And that's exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do. They've had so many problems on 3rd down this year, and I'm not so sure that ball just didn't slip out of Mark Brunell's hands. Not tipped, and sometimes those balls, they have this little orange coating on them. They're slippery early in the game.
Chris Hansen inside his own 10. Antoine Randall back deep. He starts from the 32. And Antoine Randall dragged down immediately by Elvis Joseph. A 44-yard punt, no return. So Cordell Stewart off to a nice beginning. He'll be ready to go against this defense right after this.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Olympus, nothing's more fun, nothing's holding you back. With an Olympus digital camera, nothing's impossible. And by Chrysler, drive equals love.
And welcome back. 11:42 to go in the first quarter. The Steelers with a 3-0 lead over the Jaguars. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones with you. Cordell Stewart getting his 2nd start in as many weeks, replacing the injured Tommy Maddox. Maddox going down a couple of weeks ago against Tennessee. 1st and 10 at the 34. Out of the offset eye. Bettis the deep man. Stewart to pass, fires to Kreider out of the backfield, and Dan Kreider chopped down at the 40 by Fernando Bryant after a gain of 6. 2 weeks ago, let's take you back, in Tennessee, this turned out to be the scariest moment of the season for that man, Tommy Maddox. Tommy suffering a cerebral concussion on his spinal cord on this hit, and remarkably, Maddox was given a clean bill of health later that week to play, but they want to give him some additional time. 2 straight weeks off. Cordell Stewart, such a fine performance last week as Jerome Bettis gets up to the 46 after a gain of 6. And talking to him yesterday was inspiring, to say the least.
It definitely was, and he said he's ready to go, and I believe it. And he said he wasn't afraid to come back, and had some great stories about the injury. Of course, a tough time for his family, but he said his wife Jennifer's been with him through mountaintops and valleys, and he's been with her since they were 15 years old, and so she's seen it all, and it was just a blessing that he's doing great again.
And the entire Pittsburgh Steelers organization, including the and also some people in his community, have really banded together to help Tommy Maddox and his family. Here's Stewart, fires to Plexico Burris out of bounds at the Jacksonville 49, a gain of 5. And what a year this young man is having.
And Plexico just continues to make an impact, and his name is becoming synonymous with not only great receiving skills, but of course he's more of a blocker than in years past. Of course, taking the cue from Hines Ward, getting downfield. But he's had a chance this year, Gus, to run with the ball after the catch, and those rack yards running after the catch have been significant. You've seen his speed. People aren't aware of how fast this big man really is.
54 catches for 848 yards on the season. 2nd down and 5 at the 49. Underneath Hines Ward, still running, and the former Georgia product gains 11 yards. And this man not only is having a fine season, but he should get some votes for the most valuable offensive player in this league.
And he's having such an impact. Of course, he does it all. Everybody always talks about his blocking, but his receiving will get him to the Pro Bowl, and he's made some big yards after the catch. And of course, tough going over the middle, and this guy just plays 100%. His motor is running all the time.
First receiver with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 33 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1st and 10 at the 38. The bus over the right side with the crease. And Jerome Bettis gets down to the 34 after a gain of 4.
And we've seen the bus get the ball just a couple times thus far today, and that's significant.
Log on to NFL.com and help pick the NFL's all-star lineup. Cast your vote for the 2003 Pro Bowl squads now only at NFL.com or on America Online. Enter keyword NFL.com.
So you're going to have to get online to vote for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I am. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to get online.
There's the man, calm, cool this season, Bill Cowher, in his 11th year.
I like him when he's spitting better.
He says that he's not as calm and as cool as you think. He just knows when to do it when the cameras aren't looking at him. Second down and 6 from the 34. Here's the toss to Bettis, gets his shoulder square, and Jerome Bettis running downhill gets to the 27 after a gain of 8. Now let's go to New York and Jim Nantz for an update.
All right, Gus, I'll tell you who else was running downhill. Ricky Williams of the Dolphins, their first play from scrimmage, 45 yards for a touchdown in the snow up there. Flurries at Buffalo, 7-0 Miami at the start. Let's go back to Gus and Brent.
All right, Jim, I thought the Dolphins were supposed to fall apart when it started snowing and getting cold.
I thought below 40 degrees they couldn't win.
Different story with that solid running game led by Ricky Williams. First and 10 at the 26. Hines Ward in motion. Here's the reverse. Ward with a big opening. Cuts it inside and dives forward to the 22-yard line after a gain of 5. Paul Spicer with the tackle.
And I think we're going to have a good shot of Cordell sticking his nose in there, getting some blocks inside for There he is right there, blocking for Hines Ward downfield. Careful, Cordell. I like that he had his head in there, driving his feet and trying not to get pushed back too far.
Hines didn't read the block well.
There you go. Don't you tell him that.
Second down and 6 at the 22. Second drive for this Pittsburgh team. 2-man in motion to the sideline. Ward making people miss. Hines Ward dives forward and gets to the 15. Wally Rayner with the tackle after a gain of 7.
And I think you got to be a little surprised, and I know that we're only 8 minutes into the first quarter, but the Steelers have come out throwing the ball, and I think the Jags expected, because Cordell Stewart's the quarterback, that they were going to go more to the run. And you see the ball out to Hines Ward, making some people miss. That was all Hines Ward, making those defenders miss before Kreider got out to get the block. But right now, the Jags seem like they've been caught on their heels a little bit, expecting more run. And Mike Mularkey, the coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has done a great job this year of mixing up pass and run and keeping defenses confused.
So Cordell Stewart did not like what he saw at the line of scrimmage, calls a timeout.
You cannot do it by yourself. You need to tap into the power of the club.
The Chrysler Town & Country LX, with an available rear seat DVD player and built-in cooler console. So now, going out isn't nearly as exciting as staying in.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Chrysler Town & Country, the ultimate minivan.
You need the power of the club.
Pittsburgh with a 3-0 lead, driving again here in the first quarter, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have the all-black uniforms on. Now, once a year, each team gets to wear a third jersey at home for marketing purposes. So Jacksonville pulling out the black jerseys to go along with the black pants. But their backs are against the wall right now. First and 10 for the Steelers at the 15. Here's Bettis skipping through the hole on the 10th play of the drive to get down to the 10. It's a gain of 5. And Hines Ward, Brent, has been lighting him up on this drive.
And he continues to make some things happen. Of course, catching the ball and making some plays, big yards after the ball. And here you see him on the reverse, getting some yards. And Hines Ward has become such an integral part of this Pittsburgh Steelers offense with a quarterback at Georgia. And a lot of times those quarterbacks switching to receivers in the pros don't really pan out. But this guy looks like he's played wide receiver all along.
He has 3 straight 100-yard games, 11 touchdowns on the season. Stewart firing incomplete. That one going right through the hands of Jason Kraft.
And you'd mentioned, Gus, the black-on-black jerseys of the Jaguars. Guys are fired up. The players actually asked to wear those. And you see this ball being thrown too far in front of Hines Ward, and Kraft, had he reacted just a little quicker, would have had a pick. But it's the players that are pumped for the Jags today about the black-on-black. And that's, you know, some teams wear their throwback jerseys. Jacksonville, you'd only be able to throw it back to 95. The same jerseys.
Third down, 6 at the 11. They need to go to the 5 for first down. Cordell Stewart out of the shotgun. This one batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. I think Larry Smith got his hands on it, number 94.
And you saw Larry Smith put his arm up after the play. And sometimes that's the only time a defensive lineman can get some credit. The ball's tipped and everybody says, hey, who tipped it? Stick your hand up in the air just like you scored. Watch number 94 right here. Get that arm up. And there it is. And so if we didn't know, we know now.
So it brings on Reed again. Already good from 25 yards today. This one from 29 yards out. It's up and good. 2 for 2 for Jeff Reed. And with 5:17 to go in the first quarter, the Steelers take a 6-0 lead.
Sorry.
It's okay.
A shot of beautiful downtown Jacksonville from Friendship Park. Pittsburgh with a 6-0 lead, and a look at the scoring drive. 12 plays covering 55 yards, and the 29-yard field goal for Mr. Reed, who does the kicking. And this Jacksonville team, it's almost as if they come out of the locker room not ready to play. They've been outscored 31-17 in the first quarter this season. Here's Elvis Joseph from the 1. Joseph breaks it up the sideline. Elvis Joseph gets inside Pittsburgh territory. A terrific run back of 52 yards. Now tonight, CBS presents an unforgettable holiday story that you and your family can't miss. Based on the best-selling book and hit song, Rob Lowe stars in the world premiere of The Christmas Shoes. Tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. And there's Elvis Joseph having an outstanding season, running back kicks. And Jacksonville, only 17 points scored in the first quarter, fewest in the NFL, tied for fewest in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys. First down and 10 at the 46. Here's the handoff, Fred Taylor. And Taylor looking for a seam, finds one, and is wrapped up at the 42 by Aaron Smith after a gain of 4.
And Tom Coughlin told me on the field before the game, you know, we'd like to spread it out a little bit, but we've got to get Fred Taylor going. We need him to get some yards, and that opens up the passing game. And look for him to go to Fred Taylor early.
Taylor on the season rushing for close to 1,000 yards already. 928 yards rushing, averaging 4.3 yards per carry. Second down and 6 at the 42. Here's Taylor again, cutting it back. And when you look at Fred Taylor, that's what makes him such a scary player. He can really cut back against the grain very well.
Yeah, he is definitely a cutback runner. And the one problem with saying, hey, we're going to put the pressure on Fred Taylor to make some things happen in the run game is this Pittsburgh Steelers rushing defense is pretty darn good. And that hasn't been their problem this year. And so it'll be a challenge for Fred Taylor to get some big yards today against the Steelers run defense. Their biggest problem has been their pass defense.
Third down 3 at the 39. Jimmy Smith has been quiet so far. Truly one of the great receivers in the league. Here's Brunell firing, and it's caught. Guess who? Jimmy Smith. It's a first down.
And Gus, you called that. I think Jimmy might have been listening. And Mark Brunell delivering it on the numbers. The pressure outside. You saw Joey Porter and just putting it on the inside number. Jimmy Smith doing a nice job of using his body to shield the defender right there.
Picks up 13 yards. The former Dallas Cowboy. First down and 10 at the 27. Here's Mack this time running straight ahead, and Stacy Mack gets inside the 20. It's a gain of 8. So Taylor and Mack, a pretty nice combination.
Yeah, you see Stacy Mack, and of course 1,250 yards combined, but Stacy Mack over 5 yards a carry, and of course a nice complementary back to what Fred Taylor does, more of a power rushing back, but he's got more speed, I think, Stacy Mack, than people realize, and he's kind of been the back inside the red zone for this Jacksonville Jaguars team.
Has 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. 2nd and 2 at the 19. This time Taylor sprinting, touchdown Jags. right through the heart of the Pittsburgh defense. Fred Taylor goes 18 yards.
And here comes Fred Taylor right at the gut. Watch James Ferrier, 51. That's the block that springs him inside. The middle linebacker's got to come off that block and make the play.
Extra point is up and good. So with 2:28 to go in the first quarter, Jacksonville takes a 7-6 lead on an 18-yard touchdown run by Fred Taylor. Running backs in the league, Fred Taylor gives Jacksonville a 7-6 lead as you take a look at the scoring drive.
And Fred Taylor has been healthy this year. Of course, the changeup with Stacey Mack getting some more pounding tough yardage has allowed Fred Taylor to stay healthy, and he's got some great quicks to him. Boy, he hit that hole quickly right there. It exploded.
Here's Antoine Randall from the 6. And Randall spinning down at the 29. A return of 22 yards. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
And watch the left guard, Brad Meester, and watch Kyle Brady, the tight end. Watch the blocks that these guys get inside to open up that hole. Bang, bang, there it goes. Fred Taylor, untouched. You got to talk about the blocking. Meester came around there and just
what a great
leveled
block.
somebody. And Kyle Brady just doesn't get enough credit from the tight end position. His blocking skills are outstanding.
First down and 10 for the Steelers. At their own 29, Bettis lines up as the single setback. Play action. Stewart rolling out of the pocket. Stewart turns it up. And Cordell gets out of bounds at the 32. A gain of 3. Monday on The Late Show, top 10 ways to make football more exciting. And this week, catch Michelle Pfeiffer, Ed Norton, Bon Jovi, and Diving Dogs on 53rd Street. It's The Late Show with David Letterman on CBS, America's most watched network.
Doesn't Dave know that we don't need to make football more exciting?
I think it's pretty good the way it is.
That's right. We only need one of the top 10. Parity. That makes it more exciting. We've already got that.
Second down and 7 at the 32. Steelers need to go to the 39 for a first down. There's Ward in motion. The pitch, Bettis with blockers. The big fella getting around the corner, and Bettis dives forward close to the 40. I think they spotted at the 39. Marcus Stroud chasing him out of bounds.
And we talked to the bus, and the bus is a little fired up. And hearing a few people around the league saying he's washed up, and they don't realize he was banged up with that knee injury and still as quick as ever. He is a load to bring down, and Bus knows. He knows when his time is going to be up, but it's not now. And it's been really more of a factor. He hasn't gotten as many carries here the last few weeks, and figured he's going to get more of an opportunity today.
And as a matter of fact, he started his first game in 5 weeks last week when he rushed for 79 yards and a couple of touchdowns. First down and 10. Here's Stewart firing, and it's broken up at the last moment. Nicely done by Jason Kraft.
And we've seen Jason Kraft make some good plays today, and I think the most significant thing is he's gone stride for stride with these outstanding receivers from the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're going to see him coming across right there, the bottom of your screen, with Hines Ward, who's got some good game speed. But Jason Kraft, just a man-to-man coverage assignment, and that ball hangs up a little bit, and that's one of the things that Cordell has done in the past. He's got to put a little bit more zip on that throw.
Kraft, and the numbers on him this season. Walked on to his college team at Colorado State. And this time it's Amos Zaraway up to the 7. And Amos Zaraway and Jerome Bettis, like Taylor and Mack, they have been a great tandem this season.
They have, and of course Amos Zaraway has more yards than the Bus. Of course, played a few more games with the Bus's injury, but you see their average pretty close to the same, 3.938. But Amos Zaraway has a little bit more impact on that screen game. They like to throw on the screen.
On 3rd and 3 from the 46, empty backfield for the Steelers, 5-receiver package. Here's the drop play. So dangerous. Cordell Stewart easily picks up the first down, a gain of 6.
And Gus, I don't even know if that's a call in the huddle, but you spread those defenders out like that, and Cordell gets up and sees the coverage, and he realizes, hey, if my my tackles can block one-on-one, I'm going to have a big hole. And he just steps up and gets that first down with his legs. And you talked about how dangerous Cordell Stewart can be, and it doesn't have to be a 40-yard run. It could be a 7-yard first down. And
that's the end of the first quarter with the score Jacksonville 7, Pittsburgh 6. We'll be back to Jacksonville after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
What is it?
It's into the second quarter. The Jaguars lead the Steelers by 1.
You know, the Steelers really dominated those first couple possessions and only came away with field goals. And it's frustrating to be on that sideline when you feel like you've dominated and all of a sudden you're behind 7-6.
First down and 10 at the 49. For the Steelers, Kreider and Bettis in the backfield out of the offset eye. 2-man in motion. Here's the pitch to the bus. And Bettis bottled up and taken down. Rob Meyer fighting off the block and making a tackle with his offhand. And it's a loss of 2.
And anytime you get penetration on a toss, you're going to screw up the play unless you got a cutback runner. And Jerome Bettis is running right to that hole. You see 92. Meyer get back there and get penetration, and he stops the whole play. Nowhere to go.
Meyer in his 3rd season out of Washington State. Second down and 12 for the Steelers at their own 49. Stewart underneath, Ford with the catch, and he gets to the 40-yard line, close to a first down for Pittsburgh.
And Gus, you got to be just so impressed with this offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jeff Harting's the center, had arthroscopic surgery. Chucky Okobe, number 56, filling in for him and just doing a nice job against the inside guys for the Jaguars. Marcus Stroud, John Henderson, their two first round draft choices these last 2 years are really the strength of this front four for the Jags. They haven't got a lot of pressure on Cordell Stewart thus far today.
First down and 10 at the 39. Here's Bus on the draw. Jerome Bettis cuts it in, and the Bus, rumbling today, picks up the first down and some. This time he gains 11.
And when I watch the Pittsburgh Steelers, I see the best blocking group of wide receivers there is. And you see here on the draw, Jerome's going to get some free space to run. And once he bounces outside the top of your screen, you're going to see Plexico Burress outside making the block, keeping his man off the runner. And that's so important. You see right there, top of the screen, great job by Plexico Burress. That's 100% wide receiver.
First down and 10 at the 28. Stewart looking, steps up. He's got all kinds of room. Stewart, what a great move. Cordell Stewart, touchdown Pittsburgh. How about that? 28-yard run. Cordell Stewart. He looked like Michael Vick.
And Gus, that's the reason that Bill Cowher didn't give up who his starting quarterback was going to be this week. Because you had to prepare, if you're Jacksonville, for 2 different styles. And Tom Coughlin wasn't sure who was going to be the starter. Of course, Cordell took a lot of the snaps on Wednesday, and so he started thinking it might have been Cordell. But look at that hole open up in the middle. That's one of the things the Jags have to do, control those lanes.
Extra point is up and good. The Steelers have looked sensational on offense. 12:43 to go here in the first half, and they lead it 13-7. Three scores, 2 field goals and a touchdown. Most recently, a 28-yard gallop by Cordell Stewart, and the Steelers take a 13-7 lead. Pittsburgh ready to send it away. This is Joseph. And Elvis over the 30 up to the 33. Another look at that spectacular run by Cordell Stewart.
Because Cordell's going to recognize the man coverage. Watch the linebackers go with the backs, and when there's a free safety on top, and man, now watch the linebackers. They're bolting. They got coverage. And now watch the move Cordell Stewart makes on Jason Kraft right here. Little juke, bang. It's all over. When you freeze a guy and then the free safety, Marlon McCree, becomes Cordell Stewart. Man to man. I've got to beat him. Cordell runs right by him.
Cordell very candid yesterday in our meetings with him. We'll share that with you in a moment. They run it. Stacey Mack goes nowhere. And he loses it. It's stripped. Picked up by Joey Porter. The ball stripped out of his hands. And the Jaguars turn it over. Joey Porter with the recovery.
And I think Tom Coughlin's upset. He thought that whistle should have blown, but James Ferrier playing to the whistle. It did not blow, and he stayed with it, and you saw him just rip that ball out of Stacey Mack's hand. And that's what Tom Coughlin's saying. Hey, the whistle should have blown. You see Ferrier stand up Mack, and right there, forward progress is stopped. You get pushed back, and you know what, Gus? I don't blame Tom Coughlin. That whistle should have blown. When the guy's going back 2 or 3 yards and they hadn't blown the whistle, but we were up here and we did not hear it.
Jerry Austin, your referee today.
After discussion on the play, the player was under control of the defensive player and being driven back. There is no fumble.
Good job, partner. And now Bill Cowher goes ballistic.
And he's going to say, he's going to be arguing, hey, you called fumble. We didn't hear the whistle. That's what he's saying.
Is on the field.
Read his lips. No whistle. Get over here. And we talked about how much more we liked him when he was spitting and screaming. Here we go.
And I did not hear a whistle.
I did not hear a whistle. And Bill is saying exactly that. No whistle. And when he gets that look on his face, watch out.
Oh, that's the Bill Cowher we've been missing.
There you go.
We prefer this type as opposed to the executive Bill Cowher we've been seeing on the sideline.
And you can see he said there is no whistle. And you know what? There wasn't. And that's why his argument's correct. I don't blame Tom Coughlin for being upset. The right call, though, was that his momentum was stopped. He was being pushed back. So no matter how it came about, and let's listen one more time. No matter how it came about, Gus,
no whistle.
The proper call was made. Even though there wasn't a whistle, there should have been a whistle. And that's what Coach Cowher's saying, though, no whistle. And players are taught to play to the whistle. And so you can kind of see, you know, I'm seated squarely on the fence on this one. But really, the proper call was his momentum was stopped, and there should have been a whistle. But Bill Cowher's saying, and correctly, there wasn't a whistle. And so I don't think I've ever seen a group of officials overturn a call where the whistle hadn't blown. You know, you hear all the time about the whistle kind of saving the fumble, but we hadn't seen the reverse of that.
So Tom Coughlin and the Jaguars catch a huge break, down 13-7. It's only a loss of 3 on the play. This Pittsburgh offense is red hot right now. Makes it 2nd down, 13 at the 29 for the Jags. Here's Taylor. Fred Taylor cutting it back, gets to the 31-yard line. And when we talked to Mark Brunell on Friday, he told us that they plan on spreading the Steelers out like so many other teams have done this season. They watched the New England game and wanted to use some of the things the Patriots used, but so far they've been dedicated to running the football, Brent.
And Tom Coughlin right on the field before the game, Gus had mentioned Fred Taylor, but you're going to see some 3 and 4 wides from Jacksonville today. I don't know if you're going to get a steady diet like some of these other teams that have faced the Steelers, but and when we had Tennessee spread it out a couple weeks ago, I almost fell off my chair.
3rd down and 11 at the 31. They need to go to the 42 for 1st down. Bobby Shaw in motion. Brunell out of the shotgun, steps up underneath. Jimmy Smith with the catch, but he will be about 2.5 yards short of a 1st down. Chad Scott closing on him after a gain of 7.
And the Steelers came with the blitz, and the Jags did a nice job of picking it up. I'm not a big fan of running 5-yard routes on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, and Jimmy Smith, of course, can make his share of 1st down from that situation, but I'd like to see guys throw it over that 1st down marker.
Antoine Randall back deep, high, wobbly, short punt. Fair caught at the 37. a 26-yard punt. And Bill Cowher warm under the collar here in Northeast Florida.
Yes, is sponsored by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Burger King. Now for a limited time, get the new Extreme Bacon and Cheese Whopper at Burger King. At BK, you got it. And by Motorola, bringing intelligence everywhere. Hello, Moto.
And Cordell Stewart, as I mentioned, very candid yesterday when we asked him about his future, and he said, hey, if the organization wants another quarterback, so be it, because I understand that this is a business and I'm tired of trying to prove myself.
And Randall L's in the game, Gus, at quarterback.
And here's the reverse. Hines Ward down the sideline, still running, and he gets out of bounds. Antoine Randall L at quarterback, and a 15-yard pickup. Remember, he's the young man that played QB at Indiana.
So we went from not knowing which quarterback was starting to both quarterbacks, Cordell and Tommy, on the sideline. And Randall L handing off to Hines Ward, and we can continue to see Hines Ward make players miss. Nice move there. Extra 7-8 yards down the sideline. Look at that. Get out of my face. Throw that safety down on the ground.
First down and 10 at the 48. Here's Amos Saraway. Breaks a tackle. Gets to the line of scrimmage. Now let's go to New York for another NFL update.
All right, we had another game-time decision. Starting quarterback today, McNair got the nod for the Titans, and he finds Derek Mason for the 6-yard hookup and touchdown. 7-3 Titans. McNair playing injured and playing well. Let's go back to you guys.
All right, Jim, so Tennessee losing the game last week to Baltimore on the road, 13-12. Very disappointing loss for them. And they'll have Peyton Manning and the Colts next week at home for first place in their division. Over the middle, ball is caught at the 40-yard line. Another nice pickup for Hines Ward. Coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer for all the scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Nextel halftime report. So, Brent, talk about the future for Cordell Stewart. What do you think? What happens after this year?
Well, we've been around the league, and we know that there's a lot of teams that would love a Cordell Stewart as their quarterback. I think most realistically, Tommy Maddox is the quarterback of this Pittsburgh Steelers team. That doesn't mean Cordell needs to hang his head, but I think he's auditioning at this point of the year.
Third down and 2 at the 40. The reverse. Somehow Hines Ward manages to hold on to the ball, but is knocked backwards. Marlon McCree, the safety, making the tackle. And the Steelers have to punt it away. And we'll punt it to New York right now. Here's Jim Nantz.
All right, guys, come and let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. Jed Weaver, the tight end for the Dolphins. From Lucas, who was 5 for 5 on the series. 14-3 Miami second quarter. Let's go back to you.
And here's a fake punt. It's Haynes, Verron Haynes, down the sideline. And he picks up the first down for the Steelers at the Jacksonville 15.
Boy, what a great time to call a fake punt. Nobody expecting it. Hike it to the up back, get outside. You see the blocks on the corner, and Ron Hayes, of course, has a big gain outside with a lot of room to run. Nobody even touched him until he got down 8-10 yards.
So the Steelers keep the drive alive with the fake punt, and they have the ball first down and 10 at the Jacksonville 25. Stewart on the slant. It's intercepted. Here's McCree. Breaks it back. Still running. Down the sideline. Cuts it in. McCree finally tackled at the 25. Mark Bruner hauling him down. A return of 53 yards.
And Gus, it's amazing the momentum shift in this game. A fake punt can really give you momentum. Next play, Steelers going to the slant. Cordell throwing it out to Plexico. Hand on the ball, and there goes Marlon McCree. Now watch McCree use his blockers. as a defensive back, he might do a better job using his blockers and waiting for blocks to set up, cutting back 2, 3, 4 times than I've seen all year.
That ball perfectly thrown to Plexico Burris.
And Plexico's got to come up with that. He'd be the first to tell you.
1st and 10 for the Jags at the Pittsburgh 27. Here comes the blitz. Play action. Brunell setting up. Fires. Fred Taylor with the catch. Breaks a tackle. Taylor down at the 9. A gain of 17. Lee Flowers with the tackle.
Boy, you just put the ball in Fred Taylor's hands and he can make something happen. Watch the pressure. Mark Brunell. Little Mark Brunell sandwich gets smashed between 2 linebackers, but Fred Taylor, open field, little arm over there without the ball. And Mark Brunell's going to take a big shot here. Ow. Casey Hampton, Joey Porter, and that's got to hurt.
1st down and goal at the 10-yard line for Jacksonville. They run it. Matt gets to the 7. And this Jacksonville team, when we talked to them on Friday, they said, hey, we win the unwinnable and lose the unlosable, losing to teams like Houston and Dallas, but beating teams like Philadelphia and the New York Jets.
And Mark Brunell continues to be a stalwart in this league, and of course, would like to have some more passing yards this year. It hasn't been as strong as an offensive year for this Jags team, but they're still competing every game.
Pete Mitchell in motion, 2nd and goal. Back again. And he takes Flowers for a ride, gets down to the 4. Flowers with some tough play here in the 1st half.
And Lee Flowers, very aggressive, strong safety and run support, one of the better run defenders in this league. And he got taken for a little bit of a ride, 3 or 4 yards there via Stacey Mack.
There's Lee Flowers out of Georgia Tech.
And what do you think Lee Flowers' hobby is?
He's probably a gardener.
He is a gardener.
Oh, my goodness.
How about that for a last name?
And here's an injury update for you, folks. Jerome Bettis has a broken nose. His return is questionable. 3rd down goal at the 5. Brunell to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Brunell buying time. Finally tripped up and drilled at the 4. Brent Alexander really walloping him. And Mark Brunell out of bounds.
And here's the hit into the play. Brent Alexander just laying the wood, getting his shoulder, not leading with the head, and that's a proper tackle nowadays. You don't want to lead with the head. They're going to find you in the league. And Mark Brunell's taking some shots, especially in that last series, but continues to bounce up.
Richie Cunningham, his 1st attempt since October of 2000. From 23 yards out, it's up and good. So with 4:32 to go in the 1st half, the Steelers' lead has been cut to 3. Jerome Bettis has a broken nose, and he's gone in and put a shield over his face mask, and it looks like he's going back out there.
No, he's old school. Poor guy can't get a break. He can't breathe every time he's in Jacksonville. You know, he suffers from asthma and usually has some tough times down here in the humidity, and now he's got a broken nose. He thought he was going to get a freebie today.
Jaguars send it away. Here's Antoine Randall at the 25. Breaks it up to the 40, up to the 43, maybe the 44, a 27-yard return. And here comes the bus with an injured tail light.
Come on, hon, just tell me what soaps you want. This isn't really my kind of place.
Dad, I told you, lilac.
Lilac? Just use the stuff I got at the hotel.
Dad.
That's Nextel, right?
Yes.
And a chamomile, too, and a honeysuckle.
How about just some soap-scented soap?
It's that cell phone with the walkie-talkie, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
You should do their commercials.
Commercials? I want to be a serious actress.
Fail on CBS is sponsored by Zenith, the ultimate authority in high-definition TV. Digitize the experience. And by Oral-B. Protect your teeth and gums with the Oral-B 3D XL. Brush like a dentist.
Beautiful day here in North Florida, 13-10. The Steelers lead the Jaguars. Coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim and company for All the scores and highlights on the Nextel halftime report. So Jerome Bettis back into the game, broken nose and all. Have you ever played with a broken nose, Brent?
Cracked ribs. Unfortunately, my nose never got broken. It felt broken a few times, but it never was.
So there's the bus. First down and 10 at the 44. And they give it to him. Bettis running. Jerome Bettis. Downed at the 43 by T.J. Slaughter, a gain of 13.
I don't think you could tell his nose was broken there.
Couldn't.
And the Steelers continuing to run the ball. And, of course, when they run it today, they'd like to run the left side. Big Wayne Gandy and Alan Faneca on the left side making some things happen. You see opening up that hole for Jerome, who gets a full head of steam. And nose is looking sweet right there. Not anymore.
First down and 10 at the 43. 8 carries, 51 yards for Bettis. They give it to him once again. Lowers his head. Ouch. A gain of maybe 1. Now don't forget, tonight on 60 Minutes, how did what used to be the lion's share of college sports end up as the lioness share? And what do the men plan to do about it tonight on 60 Minutes? Second down 8 at the 41, 13-10. The Steelers lead the Jaguars with 3:16 to go in the first half. Bettis lining up as the single setback. Stewart pump fake, looks backside, decides to run. Stewart in the open field. Stewart down the sideline. Cordell Stewart. If he's auditioning today, I tell you what, he's going to get a starring role somewhere next year. A 28-yard gain.
What a call by Mike Malarkey. Watch the fake, get the Jags defense going this way, and then all of a sudden spin and get that roll going. Watch Jeremy Tooman, 84, the block downfield, the top left of your screen, and Cordell Stewart having a ton of room to run. And we said at the top of the show, Gus, he presents a huge problem with his legs. And that's why it was so tough to have to prepare for either Tommy Maddox or Cordell. You couldn't spend all your time, if you're Jacksonville, just practicing against one.
Stewart with 67 yards rushing today. A handoff to Amos Zaraway, and he's stacked up. Gains maybe 2 yards. And I thought that Cordell was really honest and really relaxed and at peace about where he is with this team and in his career. When we talked to him yesterday, we're at the 2-minute warning. Steelers driving up by 3.
Way cool, way to my heart. Talk this way, think of another way. Way to go. One way, two way, ways to get it done my way. For the highway. Do you know the way? See the world in a beautiful way and see the Milky Way. By the way, I can do all this with Gateway, a better way.
Happy birthday, sweetheart.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew you'd like chocolate cake.
Yes, I will marry you.
What?
I love it.
Oh, wow.
I'm engaged.
We're engaged.
I'm so surprised.
And I'm like, I'm the one that's surprised.
How long you been dating?
2 weeks.
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Hold on. Talk to her. She's excited.
Hey, hi, Mom.
You have done me a great injustice, Johnny. This is not fit for a man. New Blistex Clear Advance. For men, Johnny. For men.
As there's only one thing harder than going to a funeral. Going to a funeral with Becker. Emmy winner Dead Dancing stars in a brand new Becker tonight, right after 60 Minutes on CBS, America's most watched network. The Steelers with 162 yards rushing in the first half alone, averaging 12.5 yards per 125 yards per game, rather, which is 10th in the NFL. And look at the total yards, 175. Second down, 9 at the 12. Play action, Stewart running again. And this time they catch him. Taken down at the 12, T.J. Slaughter and Danny Clark.
I guess you're going to see the Jags call a timeout, which you don't see a whole lot, but I really like that because they're going to get a chance to get this ball back.
Timeout. Back after this. 10, and Tommy Maddox pacing the sideline. And he's watching Cordell Stewart have a terrific first half. 3rd down, 8 at the 11. Stewart again in the end zone, incomplete. Plexico Burris, the intended receiver, covered by Fernando Bryant. That one thrown over his head.
And in a half that seems completely dominated by the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to give some credit to the Jags defense. They've bent a lot, haven't broken, and they get a chance. Even if Pittsburgh makes this, they still got a chance. They're going to only be down 6, getting the ball back with 1:48 left here in the half.
So Tommy Maddox isn't starting at quarterback, but he is the holder for Jeff Reed. Perfect on the day. 25-29. This is a 29-yarder as well. It's down, up, and perfect. So with 1:43 to go in the first half, the Steelers take a 16-10 lead. Yeah. 16-10, Pittsburgh with the lead. 1:43 to go here in the first half. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones with you. And it's been the Cordell Stewart show. Stewart doing a little bit of everything, passing and running. But this Pittsburgh team, it may come back to haunt them in the second half, Brent, because they've gotten close but have had to settle for field goals 3 times.
And Gus, they've had trouble closing the door this year. Of course, up by 17 against Cincinnati last week, and Bengals came all the way back to take the lead, and we know they tied against Atlanta here a few weeks ago.
And the Steelers keep this one on the ground. Patrick Washington running. A return of 6 yards. It might be the most stirring spectacle in all of sports. It's all grit, all guts, all glory. The Army-Navy game next Saturday beginning at noon Eastern right here on CBS Sports. Jaguars take over at their own 35. 1st down and 10.
They're going to spread the Steelers out a little bit here. 3 wides, tight ends split out. So in essence 4 wides. Let's see if they can have some success.
Brunell stepping up in the pocket, decides to run and gets out of bounds at the 42. And somebody got drilled right there. And he's happy about it. Who's that guy?
Hey, he's got his head in the game. You know, all it takes is that first hit. Mark Brunell getting to the sideline and kind of getting shielded, and drop shot, little back flip there.
And that's the special teams coach, Joe Bonamego.
Big Joe's fired up. He's into it now.
2nd down 4. The screen didn't fool anybody. The Steelers, Jason Gilden and Aaron Smith, smelling it out and dropping Jacksonville for a 4-yard loss.
And you're going to see Deshae Townsend, number 26, come in from the outside and stop. He reads the screen too. See him pivot back and did not fool the Steelers.
Underneath, this one is caught. Bobby Shaw, a huge gain of 19. And the Jaguars get to the line of scrimmage quickly. Mark Brunell wants to down it and does. It's been a mistake-free first half for both teams. No penalties. How about that? That's why this game has really been moving. Last week, Tom Coughlin's team, one of the least penalized teams in the NFL. They went into the game ranked 3rd. They had 11 penalties versus the Dallas Cowboys and a number of false starts. And that really got under his collar. 2nd down and 10 at the 44. Here's Brunell. He wants to run it and goes nowhere. Gains a couple. Aaron Smith cashing him from behind. And Jacksonville has 2 timeouts remaining, and they decide to burn one of them. So 1 timeout remaining for the Jaguars. And don't forget to see why CBS Monday is America's best night of television. We started with the King of Queens, followed by Yes Dear, then Ray Romano, the guy on the left there, and Everybody Loves Raymond, still standing, CSI Miami, and we wrap it up with Late Show starring David Letterman, Monday here on CBS, America's most watched network. You ever watch Everybody Loves Raymond?
Since I worked for CBS, am I supposed to say no? But as a matter of fact, yeah, I do. What kind of a question is that? Jeez. Yeah, actually, it's pretty funny. I like watching Ray Romano.
His wife kills him all the time.
She does. That's like your wife one of these days when you finally get married.
Yeah,
She'll be killing you.
Yeah, I'll be dead.
Nice question.
3rd down and 8 at the 42. They need to go to the 34 for a first down. Brunell, incomplete. A lot of backside pressure on Mark Brunell.
And we've seen Mark Brunell under duress today. More pressure on the Steelers on the 3rd down occasion. And I think that's maybe been their problem this year. Haven't had as much pressure on 3rd down. Of course, giving up almost 50% on 3rd down conversions, the Steelers. And that's really kept their defense on the field and been a big struggling issue for this defense.
Jaguars have to send it away. This one popped in the air. And it gets into the end zone for a touchback. So the Steelers will have it at the 20-yard line. Meanwhile, for the Jaguars, their return man, Elvis Joseph, has a concussion, and his return is questionable. So Tom Coughlin and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming into this game with a 5-6 record. They've had some impressive wins on the season when they went on that 3-game winning streak from September 9th through October 6th, defeating Kansas City, the Jets, and Philadelphia. And in the AFC South, this is do or die for these guys. They need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. If they don't, they'll be very disappointed as the Steelers take a knee. So the big story in this first half, Cordell Stewart, 8 of 15, 108 yards, 1 interception, and he rushed 6 times for 68 yards for a touchdown. He has 176 yards in total offense. So Bill Cowher electing to keep his starting quarterback under wraps this entire week, and it worked. The Jacksonville Jaguars just off balance and almost as if they were not prepared for Cordell Stewart. And that's the end of the first half with the score: Pittsburgh 16, Jacksonville 10. Jim and company will be along from our studios in New York with the next halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.
How did what used to be the lion's share of college sports end up as the Lioness's share?
Rolling the buses, rumbling, Hines Ward, Plexico Burrs. These guys are putting on a show. Right here, if you want to start off and keep your job, this is how you do it. Boomers, does this answer your question? Can he get the ball to Plexico Burrs? I think he can.
Got to do it more than once. Got to do it more than once.
On the pass play. And you know what? Let me tell you a story about a man named Fred. Fred Taylor, that is, 18 yards. He smells the paint. But you know what, fellas? This is what separates Cordell Stewart from many quarterbacks around the league. When he has nowhere to throw, what does he do? Run. He smells the paint right here, guys. 13-7.
He got 67 yards rushing in that first half, does Cordell. Let's take everybody around the league. And Miami was up 14-3. Bills just got on the board a moment ago. Dan, what's the story here with Ricky?
6 at halftime. We'll return to Jacksonville after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Have the Steelers with a 16-10 lead over the Jaguars. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones. It was the Cordell Stewart show in the first half.
Yes, it was, and we talked about him auditioning, and he put on quite an audition, not only with his arms, but with his legs as well. You see him using that gun, get it out right side to Plexico Burrs, but most importantly, he gashes Jags defense with his legs, making some things happen down the field. End up finding Hines Ward a few times as well. He runs as well as any receiver after the catch. And been a big offensive output for Cordell here in the first half. Gus, of course, they'd like to come away with a few more touchdowns. Field goals can come back to bite you in the end.
So a look at the statistics from the first half, and the time of possession overwhelmingly in the favor of the Steelers. But they're only up by 6, as you mentioned.
Yeah, not only that, look at those yards, 270 total yards to 100. I mean, that is so huge. Of course, no penalties, very clean game. Of course, these former division rivals, it's always very physical, always very intense when they play. And it was just a half that Pittsburgh completely dominated, yet they're only ahead by 6 points.
So no penalties in the first half. What's the over-under on how long it takes the officials to throw a flag in the second half, as this one is downed at the 19? What do you say?
I say
first series?
This series. I'm on this series. What are you on?
You know what? I'll say this series.
Okay. You're sticking with the smart money.
I'm with you. So the Jaguars take over.
In the middle, Jerry.
As Tom Coughlin looks on, one of the most intense coaches in all of sport. And Mark Brunell back on the field. The numbers for Mark in the first half: 51 yards passing, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
And I think if you're the Jags, it's time to try that spread that they told us that they were going to do. Go ahead and get those 4 wide receivers in and see if you can attack this Pittsburgh Steelers secondary. Teams have been doing it all year against them, and maybe now's the time.
First down and 10 at the 19. Here's Taylor. And Taylor chopped down at the 23-yard line. Lee Flowers, the team leaders for the Jaguars. Let's take a look. Here's Brunell, the numbers.
You know, of course, only 9 attempts, so you're not going to have huge numbers there. Of course, Fred Taylor had the one big rushing TD, but not a whole lot of other yards, Gus, beside that play.
Jimmy Smith, a quiet 2 catches. Second down 5 at the 24. Taylor goes in motion out of the backfield. Brunell to the sideline, incomplete.
And that's just a big miscommunication between Jimmy Smith and Mark Brunell. Mark Brunell thought he was running the square out at 5, and Jimmy Smith thought he had man coverage, went to that side adjustment and was going to run a fade route, and somebody misread the coverage.
And in the second half, their points scored on their first possession, the fewest in the NFL. Here's Brunell again, and it's incomplete, and a flag on the play.
Hey, I'm a winner.
You're a winner.
You are too. Boy, that ball was shot out of a cannon.
That's interference. 80 offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, and Kyle Brady's shaking his head. The only thing worse than having offensive pass interference against you is doing that and then dropping the ball as well. That ball just jumped right on top of him.
Weren't you the career leader for offensive pass interference penalties as a tight end?
I had a couple. I could have had a lot more, let me tell you.
Jaguars send it away. Antoine Randall from the 42 gets outside using all the speed, and he's out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. A 34-yard punt, a 7-yard return, and here comes Cordell. Pittsburgh with a 16-10 lead, and it was easier getting information out of the Pentagon than out of Bill Cowher this week concerning his quarterback.
He was sure loving that situation, wasn't he? And it really creates a tough situation if you're playing the Steelers. We'll talk about here in a second.
First down and 10 for Pittsburgh at the 48. Here's Stewart throwing on first down over the middle. Caught. Plexico Burris down at the 34. Nicely done, a gain of 18.
You know, by not giving up the quarterback early in the week, Tom Coughlin thought it was going to be Tommy Maddox. He even came out in the paper and said that. And so in the NFL, Gus, game plans are prepared on Tuesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, the Jags were preparing to face Tommy Maddox. Maybe they got word that Cordell Stewart took a lot of the snaps on Wednesday. So by Thursday, they started preparing for Cordell. But they still, in the back of their mind, had to keep some of those preparations for Tommy Maddox. And we'll talk about it as this drive continues.
First and 10. Here's Bettis straight ahead.
So if you're preparing for Tommy Maddox, you know Tommy Maddox is going to be a pocket passer. He's going to probably end up in the same spot all the time, and you're a defensive lineman for Jacksonville. Hey, Coach Tom Coughlin saying, hey, here are our rush lanes. We're going to get to him. He's going to be right in the pocket. But against Cordell Stewart, who can beat you more with his legs, you got to be a little bit more prepared. Obviously make some things happen out of the pocket. So a little distraction for Jacksonville trying to prepare against two different styles of quarterbacks this week.
By design. 2nd down and 7 at the 31. Bettis is hit as he receives a football by Danny Clark. A loss of 4.
Boy, and if Danny Clark would have stuck his arm out, he might have been able to take that handoff. What a great job timing the snap. Look at, he almost gets that ball. If he's reaching with that left arm, that was a dangerous handoff. You don't hear that very often.
Danny Clark, 3rd year out of Illinois, has a couple of sacks this season, as well as an interception. 3rd down and 11. Replaced Kevin Hardy, who now plays with the Cowboys. At the 35, Stewart steps up, and he's got a running lane. Cordell Stewart, another nice run to the 27, a gain of 7. Rob Meyer tripping him up.
And I'm not so sure if Cordell Stewart stayed in the middle of the field that he would have picked up that 1st down. You think that there's going to be a spy here eventually for Jacksonville, but watch the coverage split. There's a wide open spot in the middle of the field, and you see Cordell cut back left. Probably the move was to stay inside the middle of the field, and he might have got that 1st down.
Brings on Jeff Reed, perfect today, 3 of 3, but this one from 46 yards out. Maddox is the holder. It's down, up, and good. It wasn't pretty. He got a little English on it, but last week they gave this young man the game ball. Most of the players didn't even know his name. After today, they will, including Tom Coughlin.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. AT&T Wireless. AT&T Wireless brings you M-Life, your mobile life made better. And by Cadillac, bold vehicles defying convention.
19-10, 4 field goals for Pittsburgh kicker Jeff Reed, including a 46-yarder. And the Steelers now with a 9-point lead. Reed sends it away. Here's Ike Charlton at the 20, trying to get outside, and is finally wrapped up and taken down at the 26 after a return of 15 to Shea Townsend with the tackle. Mark Brunell looking to somehow get this offense in rhythm. They have struggled for most of this game.
And how about Jeff Reed? Look at the guns on Jeff Reed. That's not a classic kicker. I was down on the field before the game, and golly sakes, he's been in the weight room. I think his arms are bigger than yours.
Well, you say that every week about kickers when they have a good game. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Reed, 5'11", 215 pounds, a rookie out of North Carolina. Fred Taylor. Taylor gains a yard. Lee Flowers with the tackle. For the best NFL coverage on the net with expert analysis and the best live scoreboards, go to CBSSportsLine.com or on America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline. And Jeff Reed, interesting story. He had a tryout with this Jacksonville team and thought he did a good job, but Tom Coughlin electing to stay with the guys that he had, and he's found a home in Pittsburgh. What a job. 4 for 4. 2nd down and 8 at the 27. Brunell pump fake down the sideline, looking for Bobby Shaw, and no flag on the play. Bobby Shaw wanted a pass interference. Dwayne Washington running right with him.
And I'm not so sure Bobby Shaw didn't grab Dwayne Washington as much as Dwayne Washington was grabbing Bobby Shaw. Of course, Bobby Shaw, the former Pittsburgh Steeler, was an integral part.
Illegal hands to the face, number 30 defense, 5 yards, automatic 1st down.
So there is a penalty. I didn't see the flag.
And it was on the far side of the field, Gus, away from the ball on Chad Scott, who was not happy about that call. But Bobby Shaw, the former Steeler, an integral part of their success last year. Third down, does a great job of finding holes, middle of the field, great in zones, got good body movement. Wants to have a big day against his former team, although Jags offense hasn't done a whole lot thus far.
Came into this game with 32 receptions for close to 400 yards. Play action. Brunell fires, hits Shaw, first down, and Shaw gets close to midfield. Dropped by Brent Alexander after a pickup of 17.
And Mark Brunell doing a nice job of finding Bobby Shaw coming across, third read on that shallow cross underneath. Bobby Shaw takes a hit from old teammate, and there's Mark Brunell taking a shot too. Little leg wrap up, Jason Gilden. Put him in the vice.
Shaw, 2 catches, 36 yards, 1st and 10. At the 49, beat Mitchell in the backfield as a fullback. Here's Stacy Mack. And Mack dropped. He may have lost a yard on the play. Casey Hampton with the tackle, the nose guard.
And we talked about how strong the Steelers defense is against the run. The Jags continue to try to pound it up in there. Fred Taylor, Stacy Mack, and other than that one big run by Fred Taylor, not a whole lot of success for Jacksonville. And you got to say at some point, hey, we've got to try our hand passing the ball. Of course, a concern protecting Mark Brunell, but here we go, 5 wides. Maybe they're listening to me. This is what you got to try because the Steelers haven't defensed it all year.
56 yards rushing for the Jaguars. 2nd and 10 at the 49. Brunell out of the gun, and he's dropped. Kendrell Bell, 2nd sack of the day, and that's what happens when you spread the field.
And Kendrell Bell was banged up earlier in this season, and that's probably the greatest sign for this Pittsburgh defense. Just had an unbelievable rookie year last year, and you see the problems the Steelers have had on 3rd down this year. And I think a healthy Kendrell Bell could be the answer. Everybody's been looking for answers in Pittsburgh. Coaches, trainers, ball boys, equipment guys. Nobody's come up with anything, but a healthy Kendrell Bell.
3rd down, 19 at the 40. They need to go to the Pittsburgh 41 rather, for a 1st down. And a timeout called by Jacksonville. Timeout on the field. Back after this. That's Jerome Bettis on the sideline. Remember, he's playing with a broken nose. And what does that mean when they put that swab in your nostril?
Means your nose is broke. Because otherwise you're not walking around looking like that. He didn't look happy about that broken nose. He's going to take it out on this Jags team.
3rd down, 19 at the 40 for the Jaguars. They need to go to the Pittsburgh 41 for a 1st down. Brunell scrambles, nobody open, fires, incomplete, and a flag on the play. A late flag thrown, and it looks as if it'll be against Jacksonville.
Yeah, on that comeback route, I think Jimmy Smith might have pushed off a little
Pass
bit.
interference, 82 offense, penalty is declined, 4th down.
Well, let's check out Jimmy Smith. Little double move, out and up, going down the field. Oh, that's not interference. He didn't get his feet in anyway, but just a little push by. That's part of the game.
And remember, we had no flags in the 1st half already. We have 3 in the 3rd quarter. High spiraling kick. Randall allowing it to go over his head and into the end zone. A 60-yard punt, but a net of 40. And the Steelers will have it at their own 20.
Hell on CBS is sponsored by Norelco, America's #1 selling electric razor. And by Wendy's Bacon Swiss Cheeseburger and Chicken Bacon Swiss. It's better here.
And a statue of former President Andrew Jackson, who served as a territorial governor in the city of Cowford in Florida before it was renamed Jacksonville back in about 1822.
Is that right off the top of your head? That's impressive.
Thank you. I study hard. No, it's written down.
Oh, okay.
Our associate director, Brian Lilly, did it for us. First down and 10 at the 20. Jerome Bettis in the backfield as the deep man. They hand it to him on the left side, and a great tackle by Wally Rayner. Rayner coming up and making the hit. But so far, it's been Cordell's show.
Making it happen with his arm down the field. Plexico Burris getting the ball to Plexico, and of course his favorite wide receiver Hines Ward making some things happen, and then making it happen with his legs as well.
28-yard touchdown run, and Stewart, the numbers, 126 yards passing, 75 rushing. Second down 13 to the sideline. Nice throw, nice catch as Plexico Burris gets out of bounds. He should have a first down, a gain of 13.
And I think one of the things I've noticed about Cordell Stewart here, after spending some time on the bench watching Tommy Maddox, he's throwing the ball on steps a lot better, timing route, getting that ball out of his hand quicker and reading the receiver's routes better. Just seems like it's just a split second quicker, allowing his receivers to get that ball, have room to run. Hey, and all the good players in the league, whether you admit it or not, you watch other guys, you got to take things away from other players.
First down and 10 at the 30. Burris with 4 catches for 90 yards. Here's Bettis running, and Bettis chopped down at the 32-yard line by Wally Rayner. Now Thursday on Survivor, with only 3 episodes left, these castaways are about to encounter something so incredible, so astonishing, it will leave them speechless. Don't miss an all-new Survivor Thursday at 8, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. Second down, 8 at the 32. Steelers need to go to the 40 for a first down. Amos Zaraway in the game. Here's Amos over the left side, diving forward. Gets to the 37. Marco Coleman, the 11-year veteran out of Georgia Tech, with the tackle. It's a gain of 5.
And I think Amos Zaraway, who's gotten a few more carries today, was frustrated last week against Cincinnati. Caught some balls out of the backfield, but didn't get a touch the ball running it. And he can be a weapon, especially on third down. They like to use him on that shovel pass, the screen as well, the little quick toss.
Third down and 3 at the 37. They need to go to the 40 for a first down. Remember, Cordell Stewart can really run it out of the shotgun. Here's Stewart looking over the middle. It's caught. First down, Pittsburgh. Plexico Burris having another fine outing. A big 5-yard gain keeps the chains moving for the Steelers.
Jacksonville bringing the blitz. Cordell's going to have to make his read and get rid of the ball quickly. 5th step, bang. You see it's away, hits Plexico in stride. And we talked about Cordell these last couple of weeks doing a really nice job of putting that ball in the numbers.
First down and 10 at the 42. Bettis, and Jerome Bettis gets to the 45. A 13-yard pickup. What a courageous effort for a guy with a broken nose.
And Gus, we've talked about the Steelers running a lot left. Watch them coming the other way. Alan Faneca, the left guard at the top of your screen. You see, here he's coming at you. And Jerome Bettis just following the big guard on the right side this time.
Bettis with 14 carries, 64 yards. He needs 2 yards to pass John Riggins and become the 10th all-time leading rusher in the NFL. Amos Zaraway this time spinning. And Amos goes down at the 43.
Amos Zaraway, the ball carrier. Joe Tuapala and Aiken Adele.
And there's JB. We talked to him yesterday. As you mentioned, Brent, he was a little sensitive about the criticism that he's been receiving. He said, I can understand being criticized, but you can't criticize a guy when he's hurt, and I've been hurt.
You know who he said it? One of the guys?
Yeah.
My old quarterback, Steve Young.
Yeah, who's working for a competing network.
So I called him on the phone this morning and said, the bus is going to come after you. He was backpedaling.
He was.
Said, I love the bus. I said, yeah, tell him that.
He also said, tell him I said I'm sorry. Second down and 8 at the 43. Here's the reverse. They're looking for the pass. Nobody home, and Jacksonville. Marco Coleman dropping Antoine Randall for a loss. And there's an injured player on the field. I think it's Marvell Smith.
And Gus Randall L is going to do a great job for a young player. The natural inclination is to just let that ball go. You get your chance to throw it, and he brings it down. There was nobody open downfield. Great sign of maturity to just take that sack.
Marvell Smith on the field. Back to Jacksonville after this.
Ignore them, they'll
Starting right tackle Marvell Smith walked off on his own. He's being looked at now by the Pittsburgh training staff. Smith in his 3rd season out of the University of Michigan. Brings up a 3rd down and 18 for the Steelers. Last week versus Cincinnati, they were 3 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. Cordell Stewart dumps it up, batted down. Paul Spicer.
And we talked about the screen to Amos Zaraway, and the Steelers had it set up great. Spicer comes in and knocks it down. Watch Zaraway with the bump and just slide right back out. Little slip screen. 3 blockers ready to line up downfield. Cordell Stewart just delivering that ball a little low.
And this is the first punt of the game for Josh Miller of the Steelers. Bobby Shaw back deep, and he allows it to go into the end zone for a touchback. So the Jaguars will have it at their own 20, and we'll stay right here. And here's a question for you, Brent. Who is the leading candidate for the 2002 NFL Rookie of the Year? David Carr from the Texans, the Broncos' Clinton Portis, Joey Harrington from the Silver Rush, Julius Peppers of the Panthers, and Jeremy Shockey from the Giants. Cast your vote at NFL.com.
Well, you'd like to pick somebody that's on a good team. I think Clinton Portis is the only guy that's on a good team. But all those guys have made their impact one way or another, but you'd like to see some more W's.
First down and 10 at the 20. 2:31 to go in the 3rd quarter. Brady in motion. Lines up in the slot. Brunell down the field, looking incomplete. Kevin Lockett, the intended receiver. And what's going on with this Jacksonville offense today?
Well, it just doesn't seem like they've been able to pick up the blitz of the Steelers. They've got some pressure in Mark Brunell's face. They've gone to the regular base formation. I think you got to try 4 and 5 wide receivers. I know it's been tough, but have a hot read if there's a blitz. And it just doesn't seem like they've been in sync in the passing game. And we talked at the top of the show, this is a tough defense to run against. Tom Coughlin mentioning he wanted to get Fred Taylor going, but other than that one play, the Steelers have shut him down.
They've gone away from Taylor in the 3rd quarter. Here he is running over the right side, and he picks up a few. Casey Hampton with the tackle. But Tom Coughlin was very interesting when we talked to him on Friday, and he talked about the salary cap and getting under the salary cap, and he was able to do it by releasing a number of veterans. As a matter of fact, 11 starters. And he said that next year they should be under the salary cap, and what they're going after is speed on offense.
Speed on offense. Speed everywhere is what you need, and of course they could use some more speed on offense, but that's tough to play without 11 starters. This team's still been very competitive in every game this year.
3rd down and 6. They need to go to the 30 for first down. Brunell under pressure, and Brunell sacked. Lee Flowers with the sack, 3rd sack of the day for the Steelers. And the Jaguars will be forced to punt.
And we talked about Jags not being able to handle the blitz. Watch Lee Flowers coming from the outside. Now there's got to be a receiver that picks that up. When that safety blitzes, you've got to turn and look hot. You see Mark Brunell looking. It doesn't appear that any of the receivers got their heads around. And all of a sudden you're going to be overwhelmed. There's too many players for your offensive line to pick up.
Chris Hansen sends it away. High wobbly kick. Antoine Randall picks it up at the 44 and is dropped by by Ross. A 45-yard punt, a loss of 2. Now let's go to New York for an update.
All right, thank you there, Gus. The Giants were down 14-10 at halftime. Third quarter, it's Kerry Collins to run. Dixon, his return game. Dixon, 24-yard touchdown hookup. Matt Bryant just added a field goal, and the Giants lead by 6. Back to Gus and Brett.
All right, a big game for Jim Fossil and the Giants, and they were embarrassed last week after suffering a disappointing loss at Houston. And the media in New York, they jumped on them and they said, hey, coach, you're going to have to accept the blame for this and not cast it off to one of your assistants or your players.
Is that what they said?
That's basically what they said. Mike Lupica, first down and 10 at the 43. Bettis rolling. And he gets to the 47, maybe the 48-yard line. Coming up next on the CBS Sports Spectacular, superstars of the slopes, including Tommy Moe, take it to the limit at the Jeep King of the Mountain World Professional Skiing Championship Series. That's coming up next here on CBS. And Jerome Bettis has just passed John Riggins for 10th all-time on the NFL's rushing list. He has 11,354 yards rushing. And there's one of the original Hogs, Russ Grimm. He used to block for John Riggins with the Redskins. 2nd and 7 at the 47. Stewart, the shovel pass to Bettis. Bettis picks up the first down and some. A gain of 11.
Boy, and I don't even think that was a planned play. That was just a nice little shovel. Cordell having his wits about him and Jerome staying in to block. That's not a planned shovel pass play. Jerome Bettis is a late release. If you block and you just don't have anything there, you just release late and turned around, the ball was right in his hands.
And that's the end of the third quarter with the score Pittsburgh 19, Jacksonville 10. We'll be back to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. In the third quarter, the Steelers did come up with 3 points, and they have the ball right now at the Jaguars 42, first down and 10. Bettis crawling forward, running behind that right side, and Jerome Bettis gets to the 32. And this offensive line doing such a good job for this Steelers team.
And you got to go back to the guy we just saw a few minutes ago, Big Russ Grimm, one of the former Hogs, and just done a great job of keeping this unit together. What I think is the best offensive line in the National Football League. And got a few guys out today. Jeff Hartings, Kendall Simmons, and we saw Marvell Smith go to the sideline for a little bit, but everybody just comes in and picks up right where the starters left off.
And the run's starting to really wear down this Jacksonville defense. 2nd down and 1 at the 33. Bettis again. And Bettis gets a yard. I believe it's enough for the first down. John Henderson with the tackle.
And we had a chance to talk to Big Wayne Gandy here yesterday, and he's talked about all the quarterback stuff that's going on. He said, hey, as an offensive lineman, we have no clue what's going on in the media. We go out and play for ourselves, and that's the great thing about being an offensive lineman. You just keep it together, play. He said Russ Grimm tells the stories of the old days about Riggins and the Hogs. And offensive lineman, it's a different breed, but it's really a brotherhood in there in the locker room.
Bettis with 79 yards rushing. Play action. Cordell firing. Kreider out of the backfield, and Kreider close to another first down. I believe he has one. It's a gain of 11.
And you know, Gus, one of the things that's most impressive to me about this Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line is they've been a running team for a lot of years. So this line is built to drive block. Then all of a sudden Tommy Maddox comes in this year and they're having to pass block. They've done a tremendous job of that combo. There's not a whole lot of offensive lines around the league that can be as significant doing both of those jobs.
And Gandy was really clever when he said, whether it's Cordell or Tommy, our job is to keep both of them pretty clean. 1st and 10 at the 20. Here's Bettis breaking it back, trying to get outside, and he's wrapped up. Spicer, and Paul Spicer's been having an excellent game.
And Paul Spicer's been all over the field making some big plays for this defense, keeping Jacksonville in the game.
Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer for all the scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show. Second down and 9 at the 19.
And you want to talk about Jacksonville's defense. Really, a big part of their pass rush has been Marcus Stroud and John Henderson this year, the defensive tackles, and haven't heard a lot from either one of those guys today.
Each have 6 sacks on the season. Stewart sprinting out, throwing on the run, puts it on the money to Hines Ward, and Ward knocked out of bounds inside the 15.
Stewart's pass completed to Hines Ward.
And you're going to watch Cordell Stewart roll out and hit Hines Ward, and we've talked about not running those routes far enough on third down, and you see Hines Ward, he just steps out of bounds. He's 5 yards short of the first down. If you've got time, which the Steelers have had all day, go ahead and run those routes a little bit further. I know it was only second down, but it's a 2-yard route here. Go ahead and put some pressure. You can't come away with another field goal. Let's go ahead and try and put in the end zone when you're in the red zone.
Third down, 5 at the 15. They need to go to the 10 for a first down. Cordell Stewart firing, broken up. Broken up at the last moment. Marlon McCree, the safety, coming over and making the play, and McCree picked up his 5th interception of the season in the first half. So the Steelers forced to attempt another field goal as you take another look.
Plexico Burris running that deep in and just collides with McCree right when that ball hits him inside. And the Steelers once again are going to have to settle.
And how about Jeff Reed? He keeps getting, he's getting progressively better. Hit a 46-yarder his last one. This to make it 5 of 5 on the day from 33 yards out. How about that? 5 for 5. 11:37 to go, and I think the coach has found himself a kicker.
Hello, Mot.
Reed out of the University of North Carolina. He's 5 for 5. Kicking field goals today, and he squibs this one. It's picked up at the 30. And Patrick Washington gets to the 40, but it was interesting talking to Bill Cowher. Every week after the game, they pass out a game ball, and Reed had only been with the Steelers for 5 days, so they give the players a piece of paper saying, who would you like to vote for the game ball? And most of the players didn't even know his name, so some would say the kicker, or others would say Jeff.
Or number 3.
Or number 3.
And then Coach Cowher told us he got up and introduced him to the team. Hey, guys, this is your kicker, Jeff Reed.
I think they will know his name from this point on. Play action, Mark Brunell to the sideline, caught. And that's Kyle Brady, his tight end, with a gain of 8. Tonight, CBS presents an unforgettable holiday story that you and your family can't miss. Based on the best-selling book and hit song, Rob Lowe stars in the world premiere of The Christmas Shoes tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. Second down and 2 for the Jags at their own 48. Trying to get something going on offense. And this is Stacey Mack, and Mack is dragged down at the 50. A gain of 3. John Fiala with the tackle. Excuse me, James Ferrier with the tackle. The former Jet.
And guys, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, you've got to find a way to either protect or be able to throw hot on that 3rd or 5th step. Mark Brunell, who's taken some shots today, and he's such a warrior back there, but the receivers have to step up for him. Get that head around and get ready to get open. Run that route a yard shorter, because you've got to come away with a completion.
Play action, Brunell again. It is incomplete. Kyle Brady, the intended receiver. No flags on the play.
And almost a great catch by Kyle Brady going away on the deep out. I think he trips right when he gets that ball in his hands, and the ground, of course,
See, I think
pops the ball out.
I think that's an overused cliche.
What?
Almost a great catch.
Almost a great.
There's no such thing. Either it's a great catch or it's not.
Okay, great. I'm just waiting for you to say a cliche now, because I'm going to hammer you.
Second down and 10 at the 49. Here's a draw play. Fred Taylor. And it's a gain of 3.
And sooner or later, we're inside 10 minutes now, and you've got to get 2 touchdowns on the board to get back in this thing. you know, maybe the run game goes out the window. It's getting pretty close to that point, especially the way the Steelers offense has moved the ball.
Time working against the Jaguars.
Oh, there's a good cliche. Time working against. I've never heard any play-by-play. Yeah, that's a good one. It took you 30 seconds to come up with one.
3rd down and 7 at the 46. Here's Brunell in trouble. And he fires to the sideline. Brady with the catch, knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Joey Porter after a gain of 4, and Mark Brunell is battered and bruised and just plain old tired.
And he did a nice job avoiding Lee Flowers, who got right by Fred Taylor. And you see the block, and Mark Brunell runs into Fred Taylor, then fires that ball. It was the longest 5-yard gain in history. But the Steelers have done a much better job. And watch out, Gus, the Jags are going for it here on 4th down.
They need 3 yards. They need to go to the Steelers' 39. Fred Taylor in the game. Play action. Brunell with time to throw. A wide open Brady sprints to the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. On 4th down and 3, the Jaguars go for it and come up with a big 42-yard touchdown.
And Gus, Mark Brunell and Kyle Brady are going to get all the credit, but Fred Taylor made that touchdown possible. And we're going to get a chance to look at that on the replay. One heck of a block.
Richie Cunningham in to attempt the extra point. A career-long reception for Kyle Brady, 42 yards. And with 8:51 to go, the Jaguars are back in this game.
On CBS is sponsored by New Campbell's Chunky Roasted Favorites. Hearty soups that fill you up right. Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And by the all-new Accord from Honda. It's more Accord than ever.
8:51 to play, 22-17 Steelers. But the Jaguars are trying to mount a comeback here after the 42-yard touchdown pass. Kyle Brady.
Big catch. One of those. It's tough to catch the ball sometimes when you've got no one around you.
Antoine Randall from his own 5. Bounces it outside. And Antoine Randall gets to the 40. A flag on the play. A 34-yard return. So a flag on the play. Let's see.
Holding during the return, number 28, 10 yards, 1st down.
Chris Hope.
And Gus, let's go back to the touchdown. Watch the block by Fred Taylor right here. This is so significant. Look at that. Nailing Kimo von Olhoff on the defensive end. That allows Mark Brunell to have the time to take that second read. Kyle Brady breaking into the open on the corner route. You see Kyle bobble that. Nobody around him. Ends up with a big play, but Fred Taylor made that happen.
1st down and 10 at the 25 for the Steelers. They've been very effective running the ball and milking the clock. Here comes the corner blitz. Picked up. Hines Ward with the catch, and he is knocked out of bounds at the 30 by Fernando Bryant after a gain of 5. And Hines Ward, he got into the paper this week, created a couple of headlines with some of his comments after the big game last week. He said, hey, if Plexico Burress would have had that kind of game, he would have been on the cover of USA Today. And I don't think that sat too well with his coach and his teammates.
No, and actually Hines got up and addressed his teammates, but just being around Hines Ward, he doesn't seem like that selfish type of guy. He might have got a little frustrated or something, but he's clearly a team player.
5 catches, 125 last week. Here's a big completion. Tooman down the seam. Jeremy Tooman with a huge gain of 27.
And we saw Jeremy Tooman on a big block earlier in the first half. Now the tight end comes in, splits the seam, that double zone you hear so much about, one-on-one with the linebacker. And what a throw by Cordell, putting it right on the shoulder pads of Jeremy Tooman, splitting the seam.
And I have a question to ask you right after this play. First down and 10 at the 43. Look at the time of possession. Bettis. And Bettis goes down at the 39. Now here's a question for you.
Give it to me.
Cordell Stewart, the way he's been playing the last couple of weeks, including this game. Tommy Maddox comes back next week. Remember, Stewart was the starter at the beginning of the year. If he keeps playing this well, does Bill Cowher have a quarterback controversy?
Well, you know what? Coach Cowher told us yesterday in his cryptic voice, the only insight he gave us was this is a one-week deal. I take that to mean that Tommy Maddox is going to be back and running this team. Hey, nothing against Cordell. And Cordell's filled in admirably.
2nd and 6. Stewart running. First down. Are you sure?
You know, I'm still sure. And, you know, this is the deal. And, of course, we've had a couple games this year where we've done that. We had Mark Bolger in St. Louis, and everybody said quarterback controversy with Kurt Warner. And, shoot, of course, Cordell and making some things happen with his legs. But I think at this point, several weeks ago, this became Tommy Maddox's ball club. Nothing against Cordell. We've covered him for several years. We like him as a person. We like him an awful lot as a player. He's much more mature as a quarterback than people realize. This isn't the Cordell Stewart of 2 or 3 years ago. He's grown tremendously in the position.
First down and 10 at the 27. Bettis. And Bettis is stood up and taken backwards. Gets down to the 25.
And Gus, one of the other things working against Cordell eventually, and you're talking about next year, his salary. He makes an awful lot of money. Of course, Tommy Maddox making a lot less. And that's just one of those issues where, hey, Cordell might be and probably will be playing for another team next year. But I think he's come to peace with the whole situation. Hey, wherever the ball falls, he's just going to go out and perform when he gets the opportunity, and that's the attitude that you have to have. He's handled the situation tremendously, been a very professional person about the whole thing.
2nd and 8 at the 25. Here's Stewart firing to the sideline, incomplete. Plexico Burris, the intended receiver. You talk about the money, and Cordell Stewart making about a little over $6 million this season, and you know he'll have a big bump on that overall salary cap next year.
And you see him stepping up and throwing it on timing, and just a little low and away from Plexico, who had trouble separating there.
3rd down 8 at the 25. They need to go to the 17 for first down. And they have risen to their feet in Jacksonville. Huge play for the Jaguars. Stewart wrapped up and dropped. Marco Coleman. His 2nd sack of the day, has 4 on the year.
And I think the Steelers and Cordell were looking for that shovel pass to Amos Zaraway, and the quick penetration prevented it. You see Cordell pull the ball back. He was going to shovel that off to Amos Zaraway, but the penetration from Coleman and the defensive front, look at that reaction. Big play. And Gus, 50-yard field goal. They'll know Jeff Reed's name at this week if he makes this one.
Let's see how good he is now. As long as 46. He's 5 for 5 from 50. It's down. It's up. Jeff Reed is the man. Holy mackerel. Where's this kid been? 6 for 6. And Tom Coughlin can't believe it. Jeff Reed, a cult figure in Pittsburgh after today.
The same blood runs through our...
Jeff Reed has tied a Pittsburgh Steelers record, 6 for 6. Record set by Gary Anderson. And here come the Jaguars running the football, and they get it to the 35. Mr. Reed, 6 of 6, and the Steelers lead it 25-17.
Is sponsored by A Diamond is Forever. How will you declare your love this Christmas? And by Hewlett-Packard, HP Digital Imaging. When it's this easy, why not?
Welcome back. 4:22 to go here in the fourth quarter, 25-17. And this kid has had a career day.
What's my name? Jeff Reed.
What is he saying to his teammates now?
That's right. He's going to go to the locker room. What's my name? Jeff Reed. You can call me JR.
First down and 10 at the 35 for the Jaguars. Unbelievable turn of events here in Jacksonville. Fred Taylor getting outside, wrapped up, and Tom Coughlin, he just couldn't believe it.
I think he was thinking and saying what a lot of people here in Jacksonville were thinking. Here's before. We got it. On the 40-yard line, gutsy kick.
Watch his reaction.
He could not believe it because they were going to get the ball on the 40-yard line had they missed that 50-yard try.
Brunell over the middle, and it's caught. A quick tackle by Clark Hagans after a gain of 5. Bobby Shaw, the receiver. And Jeff Reed, he joined the Steelers on November 20th as a free agent. And he was signed as a rookie free agent with the New Orleans Saints before being released on August 26th. He converted both of his field goal attempts.
And he told me on the field before the game he's had 7 tryouts, and he finally landed on a team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and pretty fired up about it.
Including a tryout with these Jacksonville Jaguars, who have had all kinds of kicking problems this season. Brunell over the middle, and Bobby Shaw with the catch. Chris Hope comes up with the tackle after a gain of 13. The Jaguars refusing to quit.
And Gus, the last 3 or 4 pass plays, Steelers have called off the blitz. Mark Brunell, time to set his feet, step up and throw. And the Steelers have given him the opportunity to make some plays downfield. They were having greater success when they blitzed. We saw the pressure Mark Brunell had been under all day, and now we haven't seen it when they need it.
Remember, this is still a 1-possession game, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Jaguars still in it with 2:24 to go. Brunell in trouble, gets out of the pocket, turns it up, fires, and almost scooped up by Bobby Shaw. Dangerous pass, throwing over the middle. Mark Brunell. Now tonight on 60 Minutes, how did what used to be the lion's share of college sports end up as the Lionesses' share? And what do the men plan to do about it tonight on 60 Minutes? Then don't miss Becker, the King of Queens, followed by the CBS Sunday movie, The Christmas Shoes, starring Rob Lowe.
And you see Mark Brunell turn back in and set his feet, and you know when a guy does that, he's got some guts and courage, because he's going to take a big shot instead of just stepping out of bounds and throwing it going away. You set those feet on the sidelines, you're going to get drilled.
2nd and 10 at the 44. Here's the pitch to Fred Taylor. Taylor running with a block, and Taylor gets out of bounds at the 33.5-yard line. First down, a gain of 11. Chris Hope with the tackle.
And of course running to the right side, and Kyle Brady, number 80, making the seal block right here. And then all of a sudden, Fred Taylor getting up and finding that hole. And Kyle Brady, Gus, lifted off the field. Might have taken a shot in the quad or in the knee. But I see him sitting on the bench right now. And instrumental part, not only catching the ball, but blocking as well for this Jags offense.
First down and 10 at the Pittsburgh 33. Another handoff. This time it's Taylor. And Taylor goes nowhere. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Aaron Smith with the tackle. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Jaguars need 6.
I have an
for all the scores and highlights that's coming up on the Subway post-game show. Jaguars with the football at the Pittsburgh 30. 2nd down and 7. Down by 8 points. Here's Brunell. Blitz picked up. Brunell out of the pocket. He's got to get rid of it, and does. That'll bring up 3rd down.
And one of the adjustments the Jaguars have made for this blitzing Pittsburgh Steelers defense is keeping Fred Taylor in. We've seen him pick up the blitz 3 and 4 times now. Of course, was instrumental on that touchdown pass to Kyle Brady, but sometimes you got to get your big guy out there. It might be time for a nice little screen to Fred Taylor.
And remember, 3rd down has been Achilles heel for this Pittsburgh defense all season. Today, the Jaguars 3 of 11 on third down conversions. Third down and 7. Obviously, this is 4-down territory. Brunell steps up, pumps, fumbles, loose. Let's see who has it. And they say it's Jacksonville.
And Gus, I think Jimmy Smith at the bottom of the field was getting held by Chad Scott. I see a flag down, not any call yet, but I think that was going to be the call. And that's going to be an automatic first down if that's indeed the case.
Illegal contact, number 30 of the defense.
Wow.
5 yards, automatic first down.
Chad Scott, only the 3rd penalty of the day.
And let's watch the ISO. Here's Jimmy Smith. Chad Scott's got 5 yards. Jimmy Smith's beyond 5. He's trying to get beyond him. There's the contact at about 7 yards. And here's the fumble, although even if Pittsburgh recovers at this point, it doesn't matter. Jacksonville got back on it, but automatic first down. Big penalty.
At the 25, Jags have 2 timeouts remaining. Here's the handoff, Fred Taylor. Breaks it back. Taylor still running. Taylor spins down at the 6. Fred Taylor, a beautiful piece of running. A gain of 18.
And Gus, we talked about Kyle Brady getting hurt a couple plays ago. Went to the sideline, taped up his ankle. Watch the block right here. Jason Gilden kicks him out, creates that big hole back inside for Fred Taylor. And Kyle Brady, you got to admire the guts. Gets to the sideline, couldn't walk very well. They taped up his cleat and his ankle, and he's back on the field.
Now don't forget, Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern, it's the final showdown for conference supremacy when Matt Jones and the Arkansas Razorbacks tangle with David Green and the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC championship game, presented by Dr. Pepper. That's next Saturday at a special time right here on CBS. A great finish to this one, 1:20 remaining. The Jaguars know that in order to keep their playoff hopes alive, they have to win this game. So here we go. Tom Coughlin calling the plays. First down, goal at the 7. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie this thing up. Brunell looking, Smith, touchdown. Jimmy Smith.
And Gus, as important as that is, and Jimmy Smith, you knew sooner or later one of the best wide receivers in this game is going to show up. Ball just throwing a little fade stop to the outside. Chad Scott on the coverage, but that doesn't matter right now. This 2-point conversion is all that matters.
Here it is for the tie. Smith lines up at the top of your screen as the wide receiver. Shaw in the box. In the slot, rather. Kevin Lockett at the bottom of your screen. Fred Taylor, the setback. Here's Brunell. Knocked away. Incomplete. Dwayne Washington breaks it up.
And Dwayne Washington knew it was going to be a slant, stepped right in front of Jimmy Smith, read the eyes of quarterback Mark Brunell, stepped right in between him and the ball, and right now, that's the play of the game.
So here's the touchdown.
And Mark Brunell just throwing on the 3rd step. You see Jimmy Smith doing a nice job along the sidelines. Bill Cowher said, hey, that's great they scored, but if we keep them out of the end zone here in the 2-point conversion.
Here's Coach Coughlin's reaction after the touchdown, but after the 2-point conversion attempt, different story.
And you got to love Dwayne Washington just jumping that route. You hear about that all the time. Defensive backs jumping the routes. When you've got that short of a space, you can afford to jump the route because you know you're going to get pressure on the quarterback. And Dwayne Washington went right into that slant lane. And now, of course, you're going to get the onside kick, Gus. No questions asked.
So the Steelers put all their good hands team on the field.
And we've seen a few of these this year. The most effective ones, the ones that have the kicker bounce the ball up in the air, off the ground high, so your guys can have a chance at getting it after 10 yards.
And the ball must go 10 yards. And it's covered up by the Steelers, but a flag on the play. A flag on the play.
Offside on the receiving team. 5 yards. Replay the kick.
And Gus, you don't see this called very much. What you have to do is you have to keep your foot behind the 10-yard line marker. You can't go beyond this line right here before the ball is kicked. And I think that ball's kicked. I think that's a bad call. I think they called it right out here. And Gus, I think they called it on Mike Jones, and I think that ball was kicked before Mike stepped across, and you see him on the sideline asking the official, but that gives the Jags another shot, and Mike Jones wasn't offside. There was nobody on that line prior to the ball being kicked.
So Richie Cunningham teeing it up once again. There's a high kick, and Hines Ward is there, but another flag on the play.
And I think this time Jacksonville was offsides.
Offside on the kicking team, number 86. The penalty is declined. First down, Pittsburgh.
Ross. And Bill Cowher knows that his team dodged a bullet. Next Sunday, the playoff race heats up with doubleheader action. First, the Bills battle the Pats, and in the nightcap, the Broncos take on the Jets, or the Raiders tangle with the Chargers. Check local listings beginning at noon Eastern with Jim and company on the NFL Today. Jacksonville has one timeout remaining, 1:14 to go. So the Steelers will kneel on it and allow the clock to run out.
Well, Steelers sure dominated today in terms of yards, and Bill Cowher pretty pumped up and telling Kendrell Bell, hey, it's great to have you back and healthy. Big plays by you are going to be instrumental down the stretch for this team.
But the stars of this game have been a couple of guys that haven't played a lot recently. Cordell Stewart, first of all, 16 of 26, 202 yards passing, 1 interception, 87 yards rushing. And Mr. Reed, that's what we're going to call him. JR, 6 of 6, including a 50-yard field goal, and that turned out to be the game winner.
Absolutely. You got to feel very happy for this young man, and a lot of pressure, of course, on the 50-yarder.
So let's update the standings with the Steelers winning. They will improve to 7-4-1. Cleveland was losing at home to Carolina, a team with only 3 wins on the season.
Didn't you say at the top of the show that that was an easy win for Cleveland?
Thanks for reminding everybody. Partner, friend. I was trying to get him to forget about that.
That's okay.
25 after the previous play instead of 40. Thank you.
Jacksonville out of timeouts. Tom Coughlin has the headgear off. Another disappointing loss for Coach Coughlin. They've lost a number of games by 7 points or less on the season. They lost to Dallas 21-19. They lost to Houston 21-19. Baltimore 17-10.
Put 53 on the game clock. When the referee winds the clock ready, please start both clocks, the game clock and the play clock.
And some people still believe in Cordell Stewart.
As they should. It's a good problem to have, a couple quarterbacks that can do something to you. And How about down the stretch? Doing a little bait and switch quarterback scenario.
Who knows?
You got to put Cordell in for a couple plays, maybe a game, and change up, maybe have a little Cordell package. Shoot, you know he can do some things running the ball. Maybe put him at wide receiver, reverse.
And Stewart taking a knee once again. The Pittsburgh Steelers defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 25-23 behind some impressive play. The impressive play of Cordell Stewart and Jeff Reed. Next week, the Steelers will be at home taking on the Houston Texans. And Cordell Stewart, I guess the big question now is, will he get another chance to play? I'm sure this young man will. Jeff Reed, 6 for 6. Don't forget, coming up next, the Subway post-game show. For Brent Jones, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Jacksonville. Now let's go to New York, where Jim Nantz is standing by.
All right, as balanced as the AFC is this year, that's 7-4-1 mark now for the Steelers, looking mighty good at the moment, plus an added boost, Cleveland losing today to Carolina. We have some bonus coverage coming your way.